Welcome back to Mr. Putter and Tabby Pick the Pears. So yesterday Mr. Putter has a pear problem. And when we left him, he was sitting there thinking and thinking and thinking about how, that's the wrong page, thinking and thinking and thinking about how to solve his problem. So today, when we're reading chapter 3, I want you to pay attention. How does Mr. Putter end up solving his pear problem? And does it work? Does his solution to the problem work so far? Okay, so let's see. Chapter 3 is called Zing, with lots of exclamation points. That's an interesting picture. Let's look at this right here. This is kind of like what I would call a tool. This is a tool that someone can use. Do you know what this tool is called? Yeah, I heard it. A slingshot. That is called a slingshot. What can you do with a slingshot? You can pull things back and let them zing through the air. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Let's read and find out. What I need, said Mr. Putter at last, is a good slingshot. Mr. Putter knew about slingshots. He had played with them as a boy. They were good for knocking cans off of logs. Oh, look at him remembering himself as a boy using a slingshot, knocking cans off of logs. That's awesome. So they must be good for knocking pears off of trees. Tabby followed him into the house to make a slingshot. Mr. Putter found a pair of old underwear that he didn't like. He didn't like it because it was covered with poodles. His brother had given him the underwear for his birthday. His brother loved the underwear. He thought it was funny. Mr. Putter did not. So he cut up the underwear and got some very good elastic. Do you know what elastic is? Oh, I heard somebody say it. Like on his underwear, the top part right up here, the stretchy part that stretches, and then when you let go, comes back in. That's elastic that's in there making it do that. Elastic is a material that you can stretch out, and it'll stretch pretty far like a rubber band. And then you let go, and it comes back in. Oh, so he took the elastic part out of the top part of his underwear. That's so funny. Then he got an old glove. Oh, I can see the top part of it right here. Then he got a stick and he made a slingshot. Oh, so he got this part from the old glove and he's got a stick and he's tying it on. He's a smart fella. Mr. Putter and Tabby went back to the pear tree. Mr. Putter needed something hard and round to sling. Many of his apples had already fallen, so he picked up an apple. He put the apple in the slingshot. He aimed at a pear in the tree and pulled back as hard as he could. Oh, so if his plan works, the apple's gonna knock the pears out of the tree. Let's see if it works. Zing! The hard, round apple went flying up, 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 over Mr. Putter's pear tree, over Mr. Putter's apple tree, over Mr. Putter's chimney, over Mr. Putter's house. Mr. Putter and Tabby watched as it flew out of sight. Said Mr. Putter. He picked up another apple. Zing! Up, 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 over, 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 out of sight. Wow, said Mr. Putter. He was smiling. Mr. Putter's having a good time, isn't he? He might have cranky legs, but he sure had jiffy hands. He picked up another apple. Zing! Another apple. Zing! Another. Zing! He forgot all about the pears. That's what he was supposed to be using the slingshot for, right? Getting pears. He forgot. Oh. Tabby liked the first zings, but by the seventh zing, she began to yawn. Ah. And by the 10th zing, she began to nod. And by the 14th zing, she was sound asleep. Oh dear. Mr. Putter played with his slingshot all afternoon. He played through tea time. He played through supper time. He played until dark. And when he couldn't see the apples go up anymore, I'm going to reread that sentence. I didn't use the correct phrasing. I'm going to do it again the right way. He played until dark when he couldn't see the apples go up anymore. When he was finished, he had no apples and he had no pear jelly. He was a little embarrassed. He picked up Tabby and sneaked inside. He got so carried away with zinging his apples, he forgot he was trying to get pears out of the tree, didn't he? Oh dear. So you can pause the video right there and go answer your chapter 3 questions. What plan did Mr. Putter come up with to solve his problem of pear picking? And did his plan work? Don't just put yes or no. Tell me why or why not. Why did the plan work or why didn't the plan work? Okay? Then when you're all done, come unpause it and we're going to go to chapter 4. Chapter 4, Juicy Days. The next afternoon, Mr. Putter and Tabby were sitting on their porch. They were feeling sorry for themselves because they still had no pear jelly. You feel sorry for yourself. You're feeling a little sad, aren't you? Yeah. Suddenly, Mr. Putter's neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry, and her good dog Zeke came by. We remember them, don't we? Mrs. Teaberry was carrying a big basket, a very big basket. She said to Mr. Putter, "It is amazing! When I woke up this morning, there were dozens of apples in my front yard, and I don't even have an apple tree." Where did all those apples land that Mr. Putter was singing? In Mrs. Teaberry's front yard. Oh my goodness. Let's see what happens. Mr. Putter looked at Tabby. "Amazing," he said. "So I made an apple feast," said Mrs. Teaberry. In the basket she had 14 apple turnovers, 5 apple pies, 6 apple jellies, and a gallon of hot apple cider with cinnamon sticks. All the things he wanted are in the basket. Mr. Putter and Tabby ate juicy things for days and days. And when he was finished the last apple pie, Mr. Putter had an idea about those pears still on his tree. Oh, he has an idea. He would wait for them to fall off. Then he would get his slingshot and start zinging. He's going to zing his pears right in front of whose house? Zeke and Mrs. Teaberry's house. The pears are landing. Why would he do that? I'm wondering why he would zing all his pears over there. You're going to think about it, and that's what you're going to answer for me now on Chapter 4's questions. So on Chapter 4's questions, you have 2 more questions to answer. You're going to tell me, what did Mrs. Teaberry find in her front yard and what did she do with them? And then you're going to tell me, why do you think Mr. Putter ended this book by shooting all of his pears over in front of Mrs. Teaberry's house? Hmm. I can't wait to see your answers. I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did. Bye, friends.